How can you get second citizenship? Over the past few years, we've been seeing a lot of countries introduce more restrictions on people entering a country. Sometimes they're introducing restrictions on their own citizens, and in other cases they're introducing restrictions on people who would have otherwise had visa-free access. For example, the European Union has just introduced a new entry requirement for British citizens where they will now have to get an ETIAS starting from 2024. With all these new restrictions and entry requirements being forced upon the people, the incentive to get second citizenship is becoming stronger than ever, and here are some few ways you can get it. The first way to get second citizenship, and perhaps the most popular route that I talk about on this channel, would be citizenship by descent. You see a lot of British citizens get Irish EU citizenship. Through citizenship by descent, they perhaps have a family member, maybe a grandparent who was Irish, and that way they have direct access to the Irish passport. Citizenship by descent is usually recognised by most countries. Obviously, you need to look at which countries allow dual nationality if you would like to become a dual citizen, not have to renounce your previous citizenship. The citizenship by descent route usually ends at the grandparent. For example, if you had a great-grandparent who was a citizen of another foreign country, you might not be able to get access to that passport, but if you have a grandparent or a parent, the parent one is the most helpful, but a grandparent in most cases would help you out. Another method to take when looking at getting second citizenship, and I believe an equally common way to get second citizenship, would be citizenship by residence. This is when you actually move to a country and stay there for multiple years so that you're able to qualify for the passport through living there for a long time. Most countries have this where you live in the country for a minimum of 5 years and then you're eligible for the passport. Other countries have a 7-year, some have 10, some have 30 plus. Now, in terms of citizenship by residence, unless you have a job in a country, it may be a little bit more difficult to do. Obviously, you have got some countries for the United States that do a green card lottery program where you apply on a lottery type system to see if you can get permanent residency in the United States. There are some countries that do that, mainly in Central and Eastern Europe. That is always an option when you're looking at residency. Other than that, if you are a British citizen who is looking to get EU status again through residence, you only really have one option if you do not have a current job placement in an EU country. I was having a conversation with my friend about this the other day where we were talking about EU citizenship and how he could get it if the citizenship by descent line doesn't work for him, and that would be to move to an EU country and stay there. Now, the only country that a British citizen could move to without a job visa would be the Republic of Ireland under the Common Travel Area. The only drawback to citizenship by residence is that the time aspect. Obviously, 5 years may not be that long for you, it may be too long for you. There are other routes to take, but it is worth noting that citizenship by residence is still quite a popular route people take. Now, these two methods are very non-excludable. They could apply to the majority of people, but there is one kind of excludable method for the majority of people, and that's not to say that it's a bad thing. It's a good thing that this program is out there. It does provide a lot of opportunities, and I see a lot of benefits to it, and that would be citizenship by investment, where you invest in a country. Perhaps you buy some property or just invest in the country directly, and in return you receive citizenship to that country. Citizenship by investment has got a bit of a love-hate reputation among the majority of people. Some people look at it and go, yes, it's a bit dodgy, I'm not too sure about this, I don't really agree with it. They've probably read about the Vanuatu situation where they didn't do their due diligence properly enough. But then you also look at some other countries and they do provide some benefits. Do not let the Vanuatu incident ruin the entire program. I actually think citizenship by investment, if you can afford it, it may be very beneficial. I'm not an expert on this. You can go on other channels to find out more about citizenship by investment, but the incentives really do seem to be there. If you like this video, you can click right here and subscribe to get this information on YouTube.